darkness. I could feel warm summer air passing over my skin, prickling individual hairs. Every sensation was sharp. Even after years, I was still getting used to this way of seeing. "Okay, let's go over this again," Jack said. "You make the first move, totally aggressive. Don't worry, I'll give you a target. Act like as much of an asshole as you know how, but a vampire asshole, right?" Everything Jack knew about vampires he learned from the Lost Boys. As much as he learned about them since, he still clung to some of his old ideas. I'd gone back to watch the movie since being turned. It didn't age well. "And then I swoop in for the rescue." We'd done the bad vampire, good vampire act before. I knew how it worked. I kept letting Jack talk me into it because I was, as he observed, a schlub. "Why do I always have to be the asshole?" I asked. "Can't I be the hero once in a while? I thought you said you didn't care. You're the asshole because you don't care." I didn't. I kept telling myself I didn't. This was all just a game. Arguing with Jack was too much effort, so I didn't. Psalm 23 was the main vampire club in town. A high-end, fancy place straight out of a movie. Some stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. As it turns out, a great way to go hunting for blood is to open a nightclub, fill it with a bunch of bright and beautiful young things, fill them with booze, then seduce the hell out of them. And do it in such a way that they think they've had a wonderful evening and always come back for more. It's a place where the city's vampires could safely and easily feed, watched over by the city's master. Aaron and I preferred delivery. Even as vampires, we didn't fit into places like this. Neither did Jack, really. He worked so hard at being a tortured, soulful vampire protagonist that he tended to stand out. The club had been around for a couple of decades, rebranded a couple of times as the neighborhood gentrified around it, but it had always been popular. It had a line behind a velvet rope and bouncer doormen and everything. If we'd been normal, mortal humans, no way would we get through that line. But we were vampires, which meant the bouncer had to let us in. We walked straight past all those beautiful people, all of them filled with rich, hot blood. I could understand why Jack kept coming back here. "Hey, Braun," Jack said to the bouncer, a black man in a tailored dinner jacket, quarterback size rather than linebacker, but still intimidating. He was also a vampire, one of Rick's own inner circle henchmen. "How's it going?" "Jack? Sam?" Why was I nervous that he didn't even have to think to remember my name? We'd seen each other maybe 5 times ever. But it was his job as enforcer and bodyguard to know everyone's name. Jack clearly expected him to just open the rope and let us in, but Braun looked us over for a good long while. Jack started bouncing a little. I thought he was going to say something when Braun finally let us past, giving us a pronounced frown. I waved a little. The frown got deeper. As I understood it, there were masters of other cities who were not as easygoing as Rick. They expected some kind of loyalty, some kind of service. They required, dress codes. Me, I figured Rick was nice to us because we were never supposed to be vampires in the first place. We were, in a word, an embarrassment. They cut us a lot of slack because of that. The place was dark, lit by colored accent effects and recessed lighting, and sleek. Lots of gray and chrome and high-backed booths and spindly tables. The music was techno, kind of relentless for my taste. Inside the club, Jack was a predator on the hunt. Literally. He scanned, watched for victims. Pulling us to a ledge by the wall, he leaned up against it and looked casual. To his credit, he actually seemed comfortable here, even if he was trying too hard. But me? No other guy here was wearing a t-shirt and leather jacket. Denver had clubs where I would have looked right at home. I should hang out at one of those. A handful of other vampires were around, and not just the ones who worked here. They blended in, beautiful and sinister, giving us cautious nods across the room. Plenty of snacks here for